Case study E will tell you a description of a picture, and you have to tell that it will be symmetrical or not. There are some mountains and trees, and in front there is a lake.
Perfect. Yes is the correct choice. Which of the following figures has both line symmetry and rotational symmetry?
Sharp thinking. Equilateral triangle is the right choice.
If a figure has 4 lines of symmetry, how many symmetrical parts does it have?
Strong choice. 4 is the right answer.
A regular hexagon is rotated about its center, which is the smallest angle through which the hexagon can be rotated so that it matches its original position again.
You got it? Your choice 60 angle is right.
Which figure is with rotational symmetry whose angle of symmetry is 45?
Well reasoned. An octagon is the correct choice. When a figure is folded into 2 halves, or a line is drawn in the middle of the figure such that the 2 figures are identical, we say that the figure is called dash.
Excellent. Symmetry is a brilliant choice.
Is the dotted line in the following figure
Its line of symmetry? Good thinking. No is the right answer.
What is the order of rotational symmetry for the following figure? Solid response. 60 angle is a valid choice. How many lines of symmetry does this object figure have?
On track. Zo is the correct answer.
Find the number of lines of symmetry in the given below. Correct response. None of these is the most accurate answer. Case study. I will tell you a description of a picture, and you have to tell that it will be symmetrical or not. A salesman is showing cloths to a lady. Nicely done. Yes is a solid answer. What type of symmetry is found in a regular hexagon? Smart pick. All of these is the correct choice. Order of symmetry for the following shape is dash. You're right. 6 is the correct answer. This anemone displays what kind of symmetry? Right choice. A radial symmetry is the best answer. What type of symmetry does this animal exhibit?
Valid point. Bilateral symmetry is true.
This figure has dash fold rotation symmetry. Nice work. You chose 5 and it is correct. Does this body system have symmetry? Correct. Yes is the right answer. In which type of symmetry can an organism be divided into similar halves by any plane passing through the central axis? Nice selection. Radial symmetry is the correct and valid answer. Choose the correct option. Great thinking. Is symmetrical is the right choice. If you divide something in half, the sides are mirror images. Right again. Bilateral symmetry is a valid answer. Which type of symmetry is characterized by body parts arranged around a central axis, such as in starfish? Great job. Radial symmetry is the accurate answer. Which type of symmetry is most advantageous for animals that move actively and have a head region?
Exactly. Bilateral symmetry makes sense, and it is right choice.
When a shape looks the same only at a full turn, it is said to have dash, rotational symmetry. Good job. Your answer no works well here. The quadrilateral, which has both line and rotational symmetry of order more than 2, is dash.
Clear logic. Your choice square is sound and 100% true.
Which type of symmetry is most advantageous for animals that are sessile or slow-moving?
Well done. Radial symmetry is the right choice.
In the word maths, which of the following pairs of letters shows rotational symmetry?
Bravo, H and S is the answer.
Which letters in English alphabet has both vertical and horizontal lines of symmetry?
Smart move. X is an accurate answer.
What type of symmetry do most flowering plants exhibit in their floral structures?
Well picked. Radial symmetry is the correct answer.
When something can be divided into two identical halves when divided at any angle.
You chose radial symmetry, and it is correct.
In which of the following organisms would you most likely find bilateral symmetry?
Excellent choice. Human is the right answer.
What occurs when the body can't be divided into similar sections?
Good job. Your answer as symmetry works well here. Animals whose body parts are arranged in a circle around a center point have.
Bravo. Radial symmetry is the answer.
True or false, a right-angled triangle can have at most one line of symmetry?
Nice work. You chose true, and it is correct.
Can we say that the biggest chord of a circle is a symmetrical line for it?
Strong choice. Yes is the right answer.
How many lines of symmetry does the letter Z of the English alphabet have?
Smart move. Zo is an accurate answer.
Which of the letter in English alphabet has no vertical line of symmetry?
Well picked. E is the correct answer.
Which of the following is an example of an organism with radial symmetry?
Well reasoned. C. Anemone is the correct choice.
When a shape can be divided into two equal halves, it is said to be dash.
Valid point. Symmetrical is true.
How many lines of symmetry does a rhombus have?
Great job. 2 is the accurate answer. Is it possible to draw a triangle with exactly 2 lines of symmetry? You're right.
No. Not possible is the correct answer.
Which of the following plane figure has exactly 4 lines of symmetry?
Solid response. Square is a valid choice.
Say true or false, an isosceles triangle has 2 lines of symmetry.
You got it? Your choice false is right.
Say true or false, general parallelogram has no line of symmetry.
Right choice. True is the best answer.
Which of the following is an example of radial symmetry in nature?
Correct response. Sunflower is the most accurate answer.
Which one of the triangle has maximum number of lines of symmetry?
Clear logic. Your choice equilateral triangle is sound and 100% true.
Say true or false, reflection changes the length of line segment.
Well done. False is the right choice.
Animals whose body parts are arranged the same on both sides have.
Exactly. Bilateral symmetry makes sense, and it is right choice.
A mirror image when you cut multiple times through the middle is. Nice selection. Radial symmetry is the correct and valid answer. Dash symmetry in which a line is drawn from the middle of figure. Good thinking. Linear is the right answer. Which of the following letters has horizontal line of symmetry? Excellent. Zo is a brilliant choice.
The total number of lines of symmetry of a scalene triangle is?
Nicely done. None of these is a solid answer. Write 4 English letters which have vertical lines of symmetry. You chose I'm, and it is correct. Which of the following letters does not have a line symmetry? Smart pick. Z is the correct choice. The number of lines of symmetry in an equilateral triangle is? Correct. 3 is the right answer. Which of the following organisms exhibits bilateral symmetry? Sharp thinking. Butterfly is the right choice.
Which of the following polygons have 5 lines of symmetry?
Great thinking. Pentagon is the right choice. How many lines of symmetry does general parallelogram have? On track. No lines is the correct answer. How many lines of symmetry are there in a regular pentagon? Perfect. 5 is the correct choice. An irregular plane figure can have dash lines of symmetry? Excellent choice. Many is the right answer. How many lines of symmetry does a regular hexagon have? Right again. 6 is a valid answer. What type of symmetry does a typical snowflake exhibit? You got it. Your choice radial symmetry is right. What type of symmetry do most flowering plants exhibit? Valid point. Bilateral symmetry is true. How many lines of symmetry are there in the letter? Exactly. 1 makes sense and it is right choice. Can we draw a triangle with only 2 lines of symmetry? Excellent. Yes is a brilliant choice. Which of the following has only 1 line of symmetry? Well done. A semicircle is the right choice. How many lines of symmetries are there for a rhombus? Correct. 2 is the right answer. Number of lines of symmetry in an isosceles triangle. Smart pick. 1 is the correct choice. The number of lines of symmetry in a regular hexagon. Strong choice. 6 is the right answer. The total number of lines of symmetry in a square is? Thinking. 4 is the right answer. Find the number of lines of symmetry of an arrow ahead. On track. 1 is the correct answer. The number of lines of symmetry in a circle is dash.
Clear logic. Your choice infinite is sound and 100% true.
Shapes can have dash symmetry when they are rotated. Excellent choice. Rotational is the right answer. A rectangle have dash. Number of lines of symmetry. Nicely done. 2 is a solid answer. A regular polygon dash be divided into 2 halves. Great thinking. Can is the right choice. How many lines of symmetry does a rectangle have? solid response. 2 is a valid choice.
The number of lines a quadrilateral cannot have.
Great job. 3 is the accurate answer. Which line is symmetrical for our planet Earth? Correct response. Equator is the most accurate answer. How many symmetrical lines does a circle has? Well picked. Infinite is the correct answer. The triangle having no line of symmetry is... You're right. Scalene is the correct answer. How many symmetry are there in parallelogram? Sharp thinking. Zo is the right choice. A regular hexagon has dash lines of symmetry.
Good job. Your answer 6 works well here.
Which following number has lines of symmetry?
Perfect. 8 is the correct choice.
Number of line symmetry on a scalene triangle. Right choice. No lines is the best answer. Lines of symmetry in an equilateral triangle. You chose 3, and it is correct. Number of lines of symmetry in parallelogram. Nice selection. 4 is the correct and valid answer. Order of symmetry of the letter H is dash. Smart move. 2 is an accurate answer. The order of rotation of a line segment is... Bravo. 4 is the answer. A rectangle has how many lines of symmetry? Nice work. You chose 2 lines of symmetry and it is correct.
How does glide reflection symmetry work?
Well reasoned. Reflection followed by translation is the correct choice. Number of lines of symmetry in a rhombus. Right again. 2 is a valid answer. Which triangle has no lines of symmetry? On track. Scalene is the correct answer. A square has dash a line of symmetry. Perfect. 4 is the correct choice. A rhombus has dash lines of symmetry. Smart move. 2 is an accurate answer. Number of lines of symmetry in circle. Nice work. You chose infinitely many, and it is correct. How many types of symmetry are there? Clear logic. Your choice 4 is sound and 100% true. One complete rotation is called dash. You got it? Your choice full turn is right. A square has 4 lines of symmetry. Sharp thinking. True is the right choice.
All arthropods have dash symmetry.
Exactly. Bilateral makes sense and it is right choice.
Symmetry is seen in many objects.
Right again. True is a valid answer. Is the letter P symmetrical? You chose no, and it is correct. Who found symmetry? Nicely done. Arthur Cayley is a solid answer. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format. Excellent choice. Contact Narayan Changder on Facebook is the right answer.